Hello and good afternoon to everyone. So today we are here to discuss the topic that is circulatory system. And like digestive system and other systems in our body, like digestive system is required by our body to digest our food, just the way is the circulatory system. It is required by our body to circulate the different materials which are there and in the blood. And why do we actually need it? We actually need it to, there are the three main reasons why do we need circulatory system. The first one is to transport the digested food. Like digestive system digest the food, and then to transport it we need the circulatory system to different body parts. Now second one is to transport the oxygen. The lungs, they receive the oxygen through breathing system, and this oxygen needs to be provided to each and every organs and then and the tissues. So for this we need circulatory system. Third is the hormone, the endocrine system, in which the glands are there which secrete different hormones. For that we need to circulate these hormones in the whole body wherever they are required. For this we need the circulatory system. Okay, the main circulatory system part is the blood, which carries all these contents to different parts of the body. Now moving on to the next slide, we'll see blood circulatory system consists of heart, blood vessels entering the heart, and the blood vessels which are leaving the heart. Okay, blood carries all these things, but the main parts are heart and the vessels which are leaving the heart and entering the heart. Okay, one more thing is over here is that blood vessels which are leaving the heart are called as artery. Away from heart, A is for artery. You can remember it like this. Arteries, they contain deoxygenated blood basically, and veins are those blood vessels which are entering the heart or which are moving towards the heart. Okay, so A is artery, away from heart. V are veins, towards the heart. Okay, so you can remember it like this. There's exception to these arteries and veins. One exception is there, and they are pulmonary artery and pulmonary vein. They carry the blood in the same direction, but the pulmonary artery, it contains the deoxygenated blood, and the pulmonary vein, it contains the oxygenated blood. There are exceptions to the condition that artery contain oxygenated blood and veins contain deoxygenated blood. Only these two arteries and veins, pulmonary artery and pulmonary vein, they are the exception that they carry the blood again opposite to their general nature. Okay, so now we'll move on to the next slide with this, and the first part we'll discuss is heart over here. Okay, see, the heart, it is actually in the center of the body, but it is much more tilted towards the left side. That's why we feel the heartbeat on the left side, or you can say it is located on the left side even, because it is much more tilted towards the left side. Likewise, you can see in the picture. And heart is actually covered with the membrane, double walled membrane, that is called as pericardium. The function of pericardium is to protect the heart from any injury from the friction, because pericardium membrane, what does it do? It actually has fluids between it, because it is double walled and has fluids in between it. So these fluids, they actually reduce the friction. Like you see in motorbike engine or in vehicle engines, we put these oils to make to keep them working effectively. Like that only, these fluids, they reduce the friction, because hearts work continuously without any stoppage, without any break. It works continuously, so it needs that non-frictional fluids which help it to work perfectly. Okay, now you see heart has four chambers. Two upper chambers that are called as upper arteria, and these arteria, when they are when you call them in plural form, they are arteria, and if you say it as single one, they are atrium, and these are only called as auricles. You can see in the picture given below that this is the right atrium and this is the left atrium. You can also call them as left ventricle and right ventricle respectively. There are two lower ventricles. The lower portion of the heart is divided into two chambers, that is right ventricle and left ventricle. Likewise, heart has four chambers, two upper and two lower. Okay. right atrium, right ventricle on the right side, left atrium, left ventricle on the left side. Okay, so this one is clear. Now we'll go to the blood vessels that are that enter the heart. Okay, so see, when you talk about the blood vessels which are entering the heart, they are mainly called as veins. Okay, now you see, in left artery, in right atrium, there are two. There's one blood vessel that is called as vena cava. With this vena cava is actually divided into two, anterior and posterior. Okay, the function of this vena cava is to bring the deoxygenated blood. Remember this, deoxygenated blood is being carried by this vena cava from the anterior and the posterior of the body to the right atrium or the right auricle. Okay, you see this whole picturization is there at the end when I'll explain all these, and then we'll come to the conclusion. We'll see it in a same picture. In the one picture we'll see it. Okay, now when you're talking about vena cava, they have to, as I have told you earlier, the anterior one. Anterior means upper portion. Okay, this brings deoxygenated blood from the anterior body. Anterior means upper body, chest, arms and head. From the deoxygenated blood from this part is being carried by the anterior vena cava into the right auricle or right atrium. The posterior vena cava, okay, this brings the deoxygenated blood from the posterior, or posterior means lower, means abdomen and legs. From this part of the body, the deoxygenated blood is carried by the posterior vena cava, and it is poured into the right atrium or right ventricle. Means right ventricle function is to collect the deoxygenated blood from the whole body. Means the whole body's deoxygenated blood is being collected into the right auricle. Okay, then we'll come to second one, that is left atrium. Now left atrium, it receives 4 pulmonary veins. From where these veins come? See, I'm saying veins. Veins mean they are coming towards the heart. Okay, these veins, pulmonary veins, they arise from, pulmonary word is related to the respiratory one, is related to the lungs. So pulmonary veins, they arise from the lungs, carry the oxygenated blood, not the deoxygenated one, oxygenated blood from the lungs to the left atrium. Okay, means both the left atrium, the right atrium, means the upper portion of the heart, collects the blood. Okay, and then it pours down into the left and the right ventricle respectively. See, now the blood vessels which are leaving the heart, right ventricle, now as what happens, now the left article, the left auricle, what happens, the left auricle pours down the deoxygenated blood into the left ventricle, and now this deoxygenated blood has to be carried to the lungs. So this left ventricle, the pulmonary artery, this arises from the left ventricle, means from the lower portion, right side lower portion, and it carries the deoxygenated blood that was collected by the right auricle by the superior and the anterior and the posterior vena cava. Okay, now understood. The vena cava, superior, the anterior and the posterior vena cava, they have collected the blood into the right auricle. Right auricle has given it to the right ventricle, and right ventricle is going to right ventricle is going to send this blood through pulmonary artery. Artery is away from heart, to the lungs. Okay, because it is carrying towards the lungs, so that is pulmonary artery. Okay, and now the left ventricle, the aorta rises from the left ventricle, means the lower portion, left part, lower portion. The function of this aorta is to carry the oxygenated blood received by the left auricle from the lungs, then transferred to the left ventricle, and then this aorta is going to carry this oxygenated blood to the whole part of the body. Okay, all the parts of the body. This way the circulation completes, and these are the basic parts of the circulatory system. Now we will see the double circulation. Why is this circulation? See, when the blood it completes of the one round of the full circulation, it has to enter into heart 2 times. See, the whole thing which I have told you, that all the explanations I have given you, you can summarize it into this picture only. It is very easy, and it is very, actually you can say it is very handy diagram which you can go through. See, SVC plus PVC, that means over here superior vena cava and posterior vena cava. Now I have told you from the body, this vena cava carry the deoxygenated blood. Okay, one more thing I would like to tell you over here before going through the diagram, that the black arrows, they represent the deoxygenated blood, and the green arrows, they represent the oxygenated blood. So it is much more easier for you to understand. Now the body part, what happened, the body contains the deoxygenated blood, they pass it to the superior and the posterior vena cava respectively, and this brings it into right auricle. Means right auricle has received the deoxygenated blood, and this deoxygenated blood is given to the right ventricle. Now right ventricle is going to carry this deoxygenated blood through the pulmonary artery. Means it is rising from the right ventricle, see, pulmonary artery, and it takes it to the lungs. Lungs, where what happens over here, all the deoxygenated blood get converted into oxygenated blood. Means carbon dioxide is being given out, and the blood over here in the lungs, it carries the oxygen now, and this oxygenated blood is now carried through the 4 pulmonary veins. 4 pulmonary veins means 2 from each lungs arise, and they combine and come come into the left ventricle. They pour all the oxygenated blood into the left auricle, left atrium or left auricle. Now this left auricle or left atrium, it receives the oxygenated blood. See, 2 times the heart is going to receive the blood. Means first the right auricle has received the deoxygenated one. Now the left auricle is receiving the oxygenated blood from the lungs. So that is why, because the blood before it completes one round in the whole body, it has to pass through the heart 2 times. That is why it is called as double circulation in the human body. We call this circulation as double circulation. Now this oxygenated blood which was received by the left auricle is poured into the left ventricle. Left ventricle is going to pour it into aorta. Aorta is arising from the left ventricle, and this is going to carry it to all the body parts. Means body parts, they have given out the deoxygenated blood to the heart, and heart is returning back the oxygenated blood with the help of lungs. This circulation, this is called as double circulation. The pulmonary circulation is the first part over here. The pulmonary circulation starts from the pulmonary artery from here. Okay, from this portion till this portion is called as pulmonary circulation. Means it starts with the pulmonary artery, ends with the pulmonary veins, pouring the oxygenated blood into the left auricle. And then second one is systematic circulation, which arises from here, means from aorta, carrying the oxygenated blood, and ends with the vena cava pouring out the blood again into the right auricle. Okay, this is called as systematic circulation. So I hope this thing is clear to you, and if you have any doubts, you can surely put it down in the comment section, or you can just email me over there. So thank you for watching the video, and